Hey there, my name's Gary Sims and this is Gary Explains. Today I'd like to give you a review of the Roku Streaming Stick Plus. So if you want to find out more, please let me explain. In our house, streaming video is a big thing. Of course, way back in the day when I was a child, if you wanted to watch a movie, either to rent or to buy, you need to get hold of a VHS cassette. Some of you are probably going, what on earth's a VHS cassette? Well, go and Google it and then find out. Now, of course, that was replaced by DVD, and that was a really welcome change because it brought so much new features to video watching. But of course, over time, that's now been replaced by streaming. And by streaming, I'm talking about services like, Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, Google Play Movies and TV, even YouTube itself, or if you've got your own media at home, something like Plex. So streaming video is a big part of how we consume media today. In fact, in our house, although we actually have a satellite TV receiver, it hasn't been plugged in for about the last 2 years. We don't watch any terrestrial TV, any cable TV, or any satellite TV. It all happens now because of streaming. In fact, the idea that you have to sit down at 8 p.m. and watch a TV show because it's the latest episode, or the idea you have to set up some kind of recorder to record it, that's just like, we don't understand that anymore. Now we watch on demand when we want to watch it. Now, of course, you can watch these streaming services like YouTube and Netflix, for example, from a laptop or from a desktop computer. Just open up the web browser and go straight to the right website. But of course, we do still like to watch things, on a big TV, in a lounge or in a den or wherever it is you've got this set up. You can watch it as a family, you can watch with friends. And so the question is, how do you get hold of these streaming services like Netflix and YouTube on your TV? Now, of course, some TVs, smart TVs, come with some of these apps built into them, but not all of the services are available there. For example, it would probably be harder to find a TV that supports Amazon Prime Video. So what do you do if you want to get hold of these streaming services on your not so smart TV? Well, you do it, of course, using a Roku Streaming Stick. So what I have here is a Roku Streaming Stick Plus. Now, Roku have a whole bunch of different players available that work in different ways at different price points. This is one of the higher end ones, and basically it's this dongle that you plug into the HDMI port on the back of your TV, and then you control it using this remote control. Now, the remote control is a point anywhere remote control, which means that it doesn't need to be like, you're aiming it directly. Why? Because actually the Roku's behind the TV. It's actually behind the TV in the HDMI slot. So this one uses radio signals rather than infrared. So setup is pretty easy. You plug it in the back of your HDMI port, in the back of television, you connect up the power, and then the TV will probably just switch over automatically to the new input signal. If it doesn't, go to your remote control, find it using probably the source button on your remote control. You then go through an initial setup. You might have to match the remote control with the stick. There's a little button that you press here under the battery compartment to make that happen. Then it finds your Wi-Fi network, and then you have to laboriously type in your Wi-Fi password. Now, don't worry, it is a bit laborious, but you only do it once during the setup stage. After that, you need to activate your streaming stick, and it will tell you a link where to go to on Roku's website. And you go there, you need to create an account if you haven't already done so. There'll be a unique number that you type in that's displayed on the TV, and it links the two things together. And from there, you move on to the channel setup phase. But before we talk about the channels, I just want to say that when you do create a Roku account, you are obliged to enter in some form of payment data. So that's either using a credit card or using PayPal. And I did check with Roku, and they do say that that step is mandatory and there's no way around it. The reason it's there is because there are services that you can buy. For example, you could subscribe to some of these services through your Roku Streaming Stick Plus rather than having to go to their website and doing it like that. They also assured me that actually you can't buy things by mistake because there's lots of confirmations. Do you really want to do this? You're going to be charged for this, that kind of stuff. Some people might find that a put off. It might be a deal breaker. Some people might be, I don't know, and some people really won't care. You have to choose, but just know you do have to type in payment information on the Roku website. Now, Roku have used the terminology that we find in broadcast television, that is of channels, but actually a channel is really a streaming service. So you have a channel for YouTube, a channel for Netflix, a channel for Google Play Movies and TV, and so on. And there's a fairly simple interface that you can just select whichever services you use, you put them kind of on your home page, and then they're very easy to access them. In fact, you can also add other types of apps. There are, for example, apps for showing media like photos and music that you might have on a server on your home network, and there are even little games that you can play, like kind of a bubble burst kind of games. Now, they're not very sophisticated, but they are there, you know, if you just wanted to play something quickly on your TV. Now, in terms of performance, the Streaming Stick Plus obviously performed excellently. It's designed for streaming video over the internet, and if it couldn't do that, then literally it wouldn't be worth buying, but it does stream the video very well over internet, and I had no problems with actually testing out the streaming capabilities. I will say though, I don't have a 4K TV, so I wasn't able to test out 4K. However, what I did do on 1080p worked absolutely fantastic. Talking of that, it does support 1080p, 4K and HDR, but for 4K and HDR, you do need to have a HDMI port that supports HDCP 2.2. So you need to have a fairly recent TV that can be able to support that. If it does, which you probably do if you have a 4K television, then you've got no problem. In fact, while we're also talking about that, one of the steps during the setup is that the Streaming Stick Plus will try to detect what type of TV you have so that it knows what kind of content it can stream, and it detected that I had a full HD TV without any problem whatsoever. In fact, you can also set the remote control to be able to switch your TV on and off from standby mode and control the volume, which means while you are actually watching something over the streaming service, you can like kind of control the volume and even switch the television off if you need to. That's quite a neat little feature. And while we're talking about the remote control, you can actually get an app for your smartphone that acts as a remote control. So you've got kind of the up, down, left, right, OK, and all the buttons that you find there on the Roku Streaming Stick Plus remote control. But also it gives you some extra features, including you can just tap on a channel. If you want to go to Netflix, you just tap the Netflix icon on the smartphone app there and it takes you into Netflix. But my personal favorite feature is it's got this thing called private listening. Now, what private listening does is it actually routes the audio to your smartphone, which of course you can then put headphones in. So if you are in a busy environment, then actually you can still watch whatever TV show or movie you want to watch. The audio doesn't have to blast its way over everybody else's noise and activity. You can get it routed directly through to your smartphone, and then you can then hear it on your headphones, but while still enjoying the large screen experience. I really like that feature. One other thing worth mentioning is that this does support 802.11ac, and that's dual band support. So that means that they've really worked hard to make sure you've got the bandwidth to get all that 4K movie over to your streaming stick. Now, if you don't want 4K, there are other streaming sticks. This is the Streaming Stick Plus. There's a normal streaming stick, and there's other ones like the Express, which are cheaper. They still support 1080p, and they do just as good a job. But obviously, when you want to get to HDR and 4K, that's where the Streaming Stick Plus comes into play. Actually, overall, I found it quite hard to find anything negative to say about the Streaming Stick Plus. We really are into streaming in my household, and one of these devices would work very well on any of the TVs that we've got, and I think anybody in the house would be able to use it quite simply. So I was actually quite impressed. I would give a thumbs up there to Roku for the Streaming Stick Plus. Okay, my name's Gary Sims, this is Gary Explains. As I gave the Streaming Stick Plus a thumbs up, I do hope you like this video and you'll give this video a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe, and well, that's it. I'll see you in the next one.